Yeah.
And speaking of Ryan Pace, let's bring up the third point here about why the Bears franchise is so terrible. It's because there's lack of accountability for Ryan Pace and his football decisions.
Yeah.
And what's even more infuriating to Bears fans is that, number one, Ryan Pace doesn't really make himself available to the media throughout the season. So we're just left to speculate on what Ryan Pace is thinking. But when he does have to face questions, and this
it's only
question,
from WBBM too.
Yes, and this question was at the press conference to Ryan Pace, and this is how he answers the question about Mitch Trubisky.
With all due respect, Ryan, what specifically was the misevaluation that led you to choose Trubisky over Mahomes and Watson? And what specifically have you learned from that mistake that will help you get it right this time?
Yeah, I think, again, I get the question, Mark, and, we're focused now. I think what you just said is like, what did you learn as we go forward, and making sure in any acquisition we make that we're doing it the right way. I think, and I don't think I would say this, the chapter, we still got a lot of decisions to make. I mean, the season just ended 3 days ago. So we have a lot of things we got to work through with a lot of decisions on our roster, including quarterbacks. So some of those things still got to unfold. But the key word to me is taking this on together with our scouts, and not just with Matt, with the coaches that he has around him. I really feel strong, especially with the quarterback position, when you talk about Matt and Ragone and Flip and Laser, and us just taking on a lot of these tasks together. That's what gives me confidence.
Okay, before I let you answer, Tim.
No, you rip. Go. Do it.
The question was, what did he learn from drafting Mitch, from passing up on Mahomes and Deshaun Watson and taking Trubisky? What did he learn? That's the answer that we get as fans, the media, whoever. That's the answer we get. He completely dodged the question.
Chris Ballard would have answered that.
Won't take any. Yeah, I mean, heck, that was what was so great about Theo Epstein with the Cubs, is that you have a question about Chris Bryant, he'll answer it. You have a question about bringing on somebody from the bullpen, he'll answer it. These are the answers we get from Ryan Pace.
Yeah.
And you wonder why we're so frustrated. That's why we're frustrated, because that's the answer that he gives. And not only that, he kept mentioning about working together. Well, where was he working? Well, why wasn't he working together with John Fox when John Fox wanted Deshaun Watson? He wasn't working together and collaborating then.
And they had a conviction together when.
Yeah, what the hell is he talking about? So these are the answers. Bears fans, this is why our organization sucks. Because we have a front office and a general manager that's not upfront with us, that won't give us any answers to anything. We're just left in the dark about all this stuff, Tim. It's infuriating. It's frustrating. It's terrible. I hate that I have to root for a team that's organization is run like this. What is this, Tim?
Dude, I'm numb to it. It's like Ryan Pace should already know how fans are reacting. He has a duty to build our trust again if he's going to stay. That might have been the most important question he's faced in the last 3 years, dodging it, almost making the quarterback mistake as the same level as Robert Quinn mistake.
Right.
Literally, just kind of blanding it out. And, oh my gosh.
Yeah, getting the quarterback is the most important position in all of football. You take out the starting quarterback out of any of the 4 teams left in the playoffs, are they still a Super Bowl team? No. Do they even win a playoff game? Maybe. That's the importance of a starting quarterback in this league. And the fact is that he's bungled it actually 3 times, but Mitch Trubisky is the colossal failure.
And that's why it's so important to hear what in his evaluation was off.
Correct.
And he's not going to admit that too. I think he's too prideful to admit that he was, James McMahon. He was swayed over by James McMahon and that 98 Corolla. I don't even remember, but those things just charmed him. And I think that's what it was about. And I don't think he's going to have the guts to kind of admit that. I don't think anybody would have the guts to admit it.
Yeah.
I think that's just the reality. And it's incredible that he's reacting this way when we saw him against Green Bay on week 12 or 13. We saw those 3 graphics. Remember him, Trubisky, and Matt. And you could see the shame in Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And every time the Bears are on national TV, do you ever not hear the comparisons to Mahomes and Watson with Trubisky?
Good.
I've never not. No, it's awesome. But this is front and center. We're owed an answer. More than just Matt was on the sideline. Matt was in the decision process to get Mahomes. Great. And that's awesome. Let's use it this time. But what was it about your evaluation that you can just admit is true, that you effed up, and it's what it is? You know what? I'll take it. If he just admits, okay, I got kind of shined out by, that doesn't even make sense, but like Trubisky, if that's the case, okay, that's fine. Just admit your damn mistake. But if you're going to be too prideful and just... It's like he answered that the way you're supposed to answer things in an interview for a company.
Mm-hmm.
You don't focus on the mistake, but you focus on the positivity ahead. But you're making multi-million dollars, and people care about this team. There needs to be more in what you say.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And and again, why this is so frustrating is because we don't hear from Ryan Pace very often. And when we do get the chance to hear from him, this is what we get. There's no accountability for this, Tim. He gets to make all of these horrible decisions. 6 years now we're talking about he's learning on the job. 6 years. What job gives you 6 years for you to make these kinds of mistakes, Tim?
None. Especially when you're making millions and millions of dollars. Especially that type of job.
Well,
it's all relationship. It's all relationship and saying the right things in relationship and charming your bosses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're good enough in 80. It's not like they're 4-12. They're 8-8. There's a difference. And you know what? It's the worst difference in the NFL because I'd much rather be 4-12 than 8-8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really.
No.
I mean, 4-12 would have gotten the Bears maybe Zach Wilson. I mean, something that might actually turn the franchise around, because, gosh, we know Ryan Pace has already messed that up.